Hi, it's Michael from Planet Naturopath. In this video today, we're going to talk about the male hormones, in particular testosterone and free testosterone levels. But you can't just talk about testosterone, you've also got to talk about the other hormones that influence testosterone. This is things like insulin, cortisol from the adrenal glands, thyroid hormones, and of course estrogen. All men have estrogen and they need estrogen. I see a lot of guys taking TRT therapy these days in their 40s, 30s, and even 20s. Well, that could be a choice for many reasons. If it's because the hormone levels are too low, especially if you're in your 20s and 30s, there's a lot of diet and lifestyle things you can do to work out to improve those hormone levels. Especially, there's a lot of diet and lifestyle things you can do to improve those levels. As you get older into your 40s, and definitely into the 50s and 60s, if you're doing all the right things and your hormone levels are still low, then TRT could be a good option for you. And there's many benefits to taking TRT, but if you're not doing the diet and lifestyle factors, you're still not going to get those benefits that you should be from TRT therapy. So let's have a look at some of the symptoms of testosterone deficiencies and how to test for it, and then how we can improve it. So these are some of the symptoms of low testosterone. They can be both physical, like weight gain, muscle weakness, poor recovery from exercise, low libido, low mood, and they can be other things like the sexual side of things like erectile dysfunction, infertility, and low libido, which you might think of having low testosterone. But even things like increased risk of heart disease, low bone density, can all be signs of low testosterone. Some of the hormones that can be out of balance besides testosterone include 5-alpha DHT, and this is more of a problem for men if it's too high. It can lead to male pattern baldness, which a lot of guys don't like, but also increases the risk of things like prostate cancer. High estrogen can lead to a physique like this, where you get the man boobs and especially a lot more weight around the waist. High cortisol can lead to more of that weight around the waist, but high cortisol can then lead to low testosterone levels. That's your main stress hormone. Too little cortisol can lead to fatigue and burnout and those types of symptoms. High insulin will lead to that weight around the waist again. High insulin will affect cortisol levels, and then that will also affect testosterone. So they all go hand in hand. You can't just look at one thing in isolation and try and address that. If you look at low testosterone levels and just take TRT, you're missing out on the underlying cause that's still going on, and you may not get the benefits that you're looking for. So this image also highlights the complexity of hormones, and this is just looking at things like testosterone, DHT, pregnenolone, progesterone, cortisol, estradiol. They're all interconnected, which is another reason why you just can't treat one and just ignore the rest of the hormones. This is an example of, this is part of a blood test that I've done for a client, looking at some of the main hormones and the levels. There's two different ways to check hormones. There's the blood test, and there's also another test called the Dutch hormone test. So here we've got estradiol. So this person here, their estradiol is too high, which is their estrogen. LH, which is the message coming from the brain to make hormones, is too low. SHBG, sex hormone binding globulin, is too high. Vitamin D, which is important for hormone levels in general, and lowering SHBG levels is too low. Insulin is too high, so they're insulin resistant. They probably have high cortisol as well. And this is leading to not too bad testosterone levels total, but the most important one is this free testosterone. You can see this is their metabolically active hormone. So if you just think, okay, I need to take TRT to boost my testosterone levels, you're not really getting the underlying cause of insulin resistance, low vitamin D, and excess estrogen levels. So diet, lifestyle, in this case, could make a massive difference to this person. Here we have an example of the Dutch hormone test. The testosterone levels are normal. The estrogen levels are on the high side, and their cortisol is high, so their insulin's probably high as well, and their DHEA. So this is probably a case of someone who's overweight, and this is looking at the total testosterone here. They most likely have then free testosterone levels being a little bit low. This is the other part of the hormones, or this is the other part of the Dutch test, where you've got low testosterone and high estrogen. And we also look at how the body's metabolizing the hormones. In this particular case, they're getting metabolized okay. And here we've got high testosterone, but we've got high levels of 5-alpha DHT, high estrogen, and also the metabolism of estrogen is not going very well. In this particular case, the person's on TRT therapy. And look at their testosterone, 197, it's through the roof. But the problem is their estrogen's through the roof, their 5-alpha DHT through the roof, and they're not detoxifying the hormones very well. So they're at risk of DNA damage and increasing their risk of things like prostate cancer. So hormones taking at the right level can be perfectly safe. But you need proper testing, proper monitoring to make sure that things are going okay. Here we have normal testosterone levels, normal estrogen, but the 5-alpha DHT is on the high side. And also they're not processing the hormones very well. So they actually do have prostate problems, and we need to improve their detoxification of hormones, potentially lower the 5-alpha DHT, whether through pharmaceuticals or naturally. And at this level, we could probably do it naturally and get good results. But once again, you've got to monitor, follow up, and look at other markers of prostate health as well before you make a decision. This is another part of the Dutch hormone test. First, look at the metabolized cortisol, which is your total cortisol production over a 24-hour period. And then you got the free cortisol here. And this person here, one good thing about this is it looks like a crazy high level, but at least the rhythm is good. They start off low, they go high, and then come down. But they're running on this nervous energy here. They're running on cortisol, and they may feel good at this moment, but they're at risk of burnout. They're going to increase things like insulin levels. It can affect weight, recovery from exercise, things like that, and potentially lower testosterone levels. The Dutch test also measures things like methylmalonic acid for B12 levels, and high levels means deficiency in B12. B6 markers, and B12 was important for the methylation of hormones. That's why we tested here. Same with B6, it's important for that methylation process. Glutathione is important for detoxification, and this is high. The dopamine metabolites are okay. Norepinephrine is a bit high. If this is the same person with the high cortisol, they're running on this nervous energy side of things. Melatonin's okay, probably a little bit low, and this DNA damage marker. I always like this as low as possible, but this is okay. So this is how comprehensive the Dutch hormone test is. It doesn't really replace a blood test. A blood test for testosterone is fantastic and gives lots of information. But if you want even more information, I would go with the Dutch hormone test. Order the Dutch hormone test and super detailed thyroid testing, sex hormone testing from Planet Naturopath. Just go to the website and look at the test that we offer menu. So if you suspect low testosterone, high cortisol, low thyroid symptoms, the best thing to do is to get some comprehensive testing, which we just talked about. But if you do have low hormones, what do you do about it? If the first step is not rushing out and getting TRT. Well, it can sound pretty boring, but what you need to do is make sure you don't have any sleeping problems. Many people are getting 5 or 6 hours sleep a night, and while you can survive on that much, you can't thrive. You need at least 7 to 8 hours sleep a night. Some people need more. And you may be thinking you're getting 7 or 8 hours a night, but if you've got sleep apnea or some other sleep disturbance throughout the night, you may not be getting the quality. Making sure you're having a good diet, getting plenty of protein, but also a diet rich in the good fats, monounsaturated fats, and the essential fatty acids. This is important building blocks for making testosterone. Regular exercise, not too much cardio. I always see marathon runners, which is a fantastic thing to do. It's still on my bucket list of things to tick off running a marathon. But you want to do strength training to build up your testosterone levels. Reducing stress, doing breathing exercises, mindfulness. There's lots of things you can do. Reducing alcohol or even stopping alcohol. Alcohol is a great recipe for low testosterone. People take it for false confidence to help boost their mood and motivation at times, but it could be tanking your testosterone levels. Not just having one or two drinks every now and again, but if people drink too much, binge drink, or drink too much on a regular basis, that's going to lower testosterone levels. So to sum up, sleep well, strength training and a good diet and exercise regime will get your testosterone levels back up and running. And also making sure you don't have vitamin D deficiency, zinc deficiency, iron deficiency, B12 deficiency, ruling all these things out which can affect hormone levels. So to take out the guesswork, the best place to start is with testing.